Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and Rostermania is not going anywhere. More major players getting dropped off major organisations. Who's going to replace them? Where are they potentially going to go? And what teams are they going to form next year? Very much intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Videos on the channel, thank you very much indeed. And I'm not even sure I thank you guys for 69,000 subscribers. We are just on the brink of 70,000. Honestly remarkable to support these last couple of days and weeks. Thank you guys honestly so much. It's been out of control. Let's talk about this then. Hastro, first of all, good morning, hope you're all well. Been hard at work at Envy with the entire team at Envy. Exciting projects on the horizon. Who knows what's happening going forwards? But well, lots to talk right now about the possibility of this OpTic Dallas merger, especially because people were noticing this. I didn't point this out yesterday, but well, the OpTic Day 2021 t-shirt came out just a few days ago now, and people are looking at this and kind of noticing that maybe there was a hint here all along. If you zoom in, you'll see this. OpTic Gaming empires are built brick by brick, which I guess looking at this at the time would have been kind of an interesting phrasing, right? Given like, okay, Empire, Dallas, Empire, but I'm still going for the whole brick by brick OpTic Chicago mantra. Maybe this is an indication a few days before we got to hear about this, at least rumored about it publicly, that, well, indeed, OpTic and Dallas are going to have some sort of merger coming over these coming days and weeks. Lots of bait and stuff like this on the timeline all the time. This from the Mutineers, damn, this has to be our best wallpaper yet. And if you zoom in, you'll see some DMs here on the right-hand side. Somehow there's one from me, even though I'm pretty sure I've never messaged these guys. And well, maybe that'll prove that these DMs from Envoy, Huke, Crimsix, even though Crimsix has got a capital S as well, so even that's not even true. Regardless, the Mutineers do love to bait us on the timeline, but at the end of the day, what are they actually going to do next year? Because interesting questions coming out from Awakening, as he says right here, hey Rostermania, it's tough to say what they will do going forwards. Neptune, of course, I would imagine they try and keep and build around. At the end of the day, though, there are rumours right now that came out yesterday that a New York squad is going to be Priestahh, Crimsix, Hydra, and Neptune, and they're going to try and bring in Neptune in place of a seam or something like that. That means, of course, if you're Florida, you need to find some other SMG talent if you're going to sell them on to the New York subliners in that way. And of course, you could well look at this from Awakening, SMG Wake, and think about whether that's a possibility. Of course, look, I imagine you're keeping Skies if you're Florida. You're then going to figure out what else you're going to do. Arguably, like, you really try and keep hold of Neptune, honestly. But well, maybe if that's not the case, Awakening to an SMG, could that possibly work? It's tough to say if that could be a proper idea for these guys. And as well, Gersh is pointing out on the flank, we got this from Awakening, SMG Wake, Travis and Neptune says excited for the next COD season, and yeah, Willett saying that's bait and all this type of stuff. So you got to think really exactly what might be going on around here in the Florida Mutineers camp, and what their team is going to look like next season, especially with this possibility of the New York squad being, as I said, Priestahh, Crimsix, Hydra, and Neptune, which is well, apparently being talked about a fair bit right now. But of course, like, until September the 5th, when players can officially sign their contracts, all can pretty much change. But well, players getting dropped from their teams, that is the type of stuff that you cannot change. And well, this happens from the Minnesota Rokkr. Of course, accuracy wasn't part of their starting roster for quite a while at this point. Farewell to the Iceman, they say. More aces than we can count on a 1v3. CDL fans will never forget. We truly appreciate your leadership and hard work. Thank you, Accuracy, for all your dedication this year. Interesting to think about what happens next potentially to Accuracy, because I think he was a pretty valuable piece to Minnesota earlier this season, but to be fair, they got better when MajorManiak came in, and then he was out of the team, and well, they brought in Standy right initially for Maniac, and then they brought Accuracy out for MajorManiak towards the end of the year. Could he get a spot somewhere else? I think it's certainly possible. I think some of these other organizations, like an LAG, for example, or like maybe a Seattle or a team like that, could well be thinking, look, okay, maybe we have to change our philosophy about how we build teams, rather than just stacking like veteran players. Maybe we get like a leadership figure in and then like let him kind of build around some amateur talents or something like that. It's going to be tough for a guy like Accuracy, though. There's plenty of other good main assault rifles out there in challenges and also in the league itself. You got Methods out there looking for a similar spot, I imagine, to Accuracy, so not too many spots for main ARs in the league. Maybe he can find one, and maybe that's why Minnesota are releasing him as opposed to keeping him on the substitute bench going forward. As he says, wanted to thank Rokkr for everything they've done for me this season. They go above and beyond to take care of their players. That is something I will always appreciate. But then we move on to the Los Angeles Thieves. This comes out yesterday. The TJ one we were pretty sure about, but not absolutely guaranteed. John and Venom, we saw them remove LA Thieves from their bio just a couple of days ago, so this was kind of coming. John, TJ, Venom, thank you for being part of our organization. They are out of the door for Los Angeles Thieves next year. So 3 players gone. That left, of course, I'm guessing 4 players on the team at the time. That's, of course, Kenny, that's Drazah, that's Huke, who is still there right now, and SlasheR as well. But not too long after this, they officially do come out to confirm that SlasheR will be parting ways ways with them as well. Thank you to SlasheR for the time he's spent on our team. SlasheR's legacy in Call of Duty is undisputed. We will always remember the championship moments he brought to our organisation. We wish him nothing but the best in his career. So really interesting, to be honest, because SlasheR was, well, with 100 Thieves back in Black Ops 4, was such a phenomenal player for them. Won a couple of championships at London and then Anaheim in 2019. And honestly, I think SlasheR thought, and I think a lot of us in the community thought, he would be pretty much a staple for Los Angeles Thieves going forwards into future seasons. That does not seem to be how it is. Obviously, they're letting him go right here. Now, he is certainly going to find a spot somewhere else, but what could that team potentially be? So there's a lot of options on the table here. First of all, we've got to think about, okay, what do Los Angeles Thieves do right now with their roster? Rumours coming out a couple of days ago that maybe Envoy to Los Angeles Thieves is an option. Of course, Kenny's going to be there. Drazah's there. The interesting one is the Huke question, right? Because most people would expect at this point that now it's Octane's turn to come into this team. SlasheR's gone. They decided, okay, it's probably too risky to have Octane, SlasheR, and Kenny on a team because Kenny would be forced to use an SMG, which, you know, is maybe not guaranteed. So whatever happens there, we'd imagine Octane probably comes in alongside Kenny, and then you've got to figure out your SMG duo. Drazah and Huke are sitting on that team still, haven't been benched or dropped as of yet. So, well, we'll have to see, because Envoy could be an option. Like, what happens with the Huke question? I think if they get rid of Drazah, that'd be like a massive frustration to him, I'm sure, and also the team itself. And I think I think he deserves a spot on the starting team somewhere in the league. And maybe that's on Thieves. I think that probably would be deserved. He can pretty much run every role as well. He can be the entry guy, he can be the follow-up, slaying SMG. He's pretty much done it all, even the flex player pretty much earlier this season on Los Angeles Thieves. So SlasheR is out of there. Question then does remain. Octane probably comes into that team. Octane, Kenny, the SMG duo, bit of a question mark. Huke, I think, is a really interesting one to me. Do Los Angeles Thieves decide to keep Huke? Do they build around him again and think, okay, we'll make this work this time with maybe Octane as kind of the main AR on the team and Huke over there as well? Because at the end of the day, you've paid a lot of money for Huke. It's pretty unlikely, I would imagine, that you want to just sell him off for a massive loss. So no confirmation as yet onto exactly what's happening with Octane, but you know, you could well imagine that this happens as soon as September the 5th drops, that Octane finds himself over to Los Angeles Thieves. But no guarantees. There's other teams that could potentially want him. SlasheR, where though does he go next? Because if it were me, if I was SlasheR, I would very much be considering, who do I get as my flex, I suppose? If I'm going to be the main AR, I need to get a flex over there, and I'm sure there are some organizations out there that will like just talk to SlasheR and say, look, what team do you want to build? Who do you want to bring in? And well, what does the team look like from there? The team that I would personally like to see is something involving Vivid. So I was talking yesterday about SlasheR and Gunless. They could potentially run it back right from the Rise Nation squad back in a World War II. We'll have a look at just here in a second. But Vivid and SlasheR seem to be two of the only guys that tend to be hopping on all the time to play 8s and stuff. So those seem to be two of the most keen players in the entire league. And look, I don't think Vivid's going to be in challengers, as he kind of implying right here. Because well, I think he was a fantastic player on Dallas and Los Angeles Guerrillas before that. And if I was SlasheR, I'd be considering, okay, look, what can I get as my SMG duo? Let's say I do partner up with Gunless again. Let's say he goes to a team like Los Angeles Guerrillas or something like that themselves. Would be a bit weird for Vivid to end up back on Los Angeles Guerrillas after the season that he had with them. But still, maybe like a Chicago spot or something, whoever buys that out, if OpTic Dallas does become a thing, maybe that's where SlasheR ends up. So if it were me, I'd be saying, okay, SlasheR, like, who do you want in as your flex? Maybe it's a guy like Gunless. Like, it seems like Gunless has come a long way in terms of his personality and what he can bring to a team and not causing it to implode after just a few months of playing. And well, Vivid maybe as one of the SMGs makes a lot of sense. He can be the aggro guy, he can be the entry guy, and that SlasheR probably has a fair bit of respect for his grind, right? Because that's the thing with SlasheR. He wants to pick people up that are proven, that have done things before, but also players that are very willing to actually put in the time and are very committed. And Vivid is clearly a guy like that, even though he doesn't necessarily have the accolades and the achievements like some of the other SMGs in the league. So if I was SlasheR, I'd be trying, if I could, to pinch Huke, to try and get Huke off Los Angeles Thieves, get him into my new squad, and build a squad something like SlasheR, Gunless, Huke, and Vivid. I think that'd be kind of nasty, but we'll have to see what he decides to do my next chapter, as we did indeed look at yesterday. This was, of course, the Seattle champions way back in 2018 now on this World War II Rise Nation squad, and well, Gunless was playing with them at the time. TJ, I don't really know. I think we saw Crimsix talking yesterday or a couple of days ago now on the flank that he thinks TJ will find a spot somewhere, and Loony, of course, is now trying to be a coach for some team or another. So maybe this is an idea. Loony teams up again with their SlasheR and Gunless in kind of that coaching role, and then they figure out what the SMG duo looks like right there. So really interesting potential. We get this from Temp as well. It is a great feeling, so maybe he's excited about something or another, but somewhat tough to say. So many tweets come out on the timeline all the time. Some of them are bait, some of them I imagine are real, but it is, tough to kind of feed through the gaps, I suppose, and try and read between the lines and figure out exactly what may indeed be going on. Just to finish off with this, I thought it was kind of funny. This is a pretty classic clip from last year, right? Or actually 2 years ago now, when Modern Warfare was first out, and well, there was some talk about what exactly OpTic were going to do, because OpTic had become OpTic Game in Los Angeles, and then like the Chicago spot was kind of up for grabs, or at least we thought maybe it'd be in Chicago, and what was it going to be? It turned out to be Chicago Huntsman, but Nadeshot right here, of course, he can certainly keep a secret. He'd heard something or other about the possibility of it being Chicago Huntsman, and he kind of accidentally leaks right here, like before it was actually officially announced that the Chicago Huntsman were going to be a thing in this video. And well, as Kevy Skilter, CDL team owners, I'm going to need you to tell Nade all of your intel. You can trust him, great guy, would never leak a thing. So if well, Nadeshot turns on the stream in the coming days, definitely keep your eyes tuned and eyes peeled for potential leaks hitting the timeline. He kind of reveals that it was indeed a cracking leak with well, his reaction in this clip right here. Kind of a classic stuff at this point. But very much intrigued to get thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube. I'm going to know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
Oh my god.
Oh, we bringing the team back or what?
Dude, absolutely not.
Well, bro. Well, yeah, never mind. Absolutely fucking not.
I feel like I can be like a sub for the Huntsman.
The what? Oh my god, I'm texting Hector. Oh my god. Flip it. What are you drinking, a vodka Red Bull?
Nice.
And Beast?
No, we're not teaming with you. To answer your question, we're not going to